Hello, I'm Myles Weber, and thanks for listening to the Two Tired Parents podcast. On this episode, I do want to issue a trigger warning for any of you who are watching or listening. We do talk about topics that may be triggering to some people. We do talk about abuse in many different aspects of the term. So definitely a trigger warning for anybody who has gone through any type of abuse in any way, shape, or form. That is going to be talked about and discussed for a decent amount of this podcast. And we're going to link in the comments below in the description for this episode phone numbers and ways for people to contact folks in case you or anybody you know is experiencing any type of abuse of that nature. So, trigger warning, but this was a very special and candid episode that I am very proud of my wife for being able to be a part of. So I hope that you enjoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Two Tired Parents podcast. I'm Myles Weber.
I'm Heather Weber.
And we are two tired parents.
We are.
We are. I mean,
we're consistent.
We are consistent. We are consistent. Yeah, I'm fairly tired today.
Yeah.
I mean, you're growing a human inside of you.
Yeah.
So you're pretty tired.
Yeah, but I actually slept better last night than the night before.
There you go. Okay.
So,
well, that's positive.
The night before was up at 4 o'clock in the morning meditating with our son on the couch.
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, because he's been coming back to the bedroom in the middle of the night and waking one of us up to help him use the potty.
I'm so glad that he walks loud.
He does.
Like,
most of the time I can hear on the monitor like him opening the door and I'm like, okay,
I
he's
can
coming.
hear the pitter patter down the hallway.
Yeah.
Which when we move, we're screwed.
Yeah, because his bedroom's going to be right next to ours.
But because I think like the scary thing is to like wake up, and especially because I'm sleeping on my left side, so to wake up, roll over, and there's just, even though it's our kid, but just a kid looking at you.
That is a thing, though.
Yeah.
Like the kid just silently staring at you while you sleep.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I think Chelsea told us that she's used to do that to her mom.
Her mom, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying. You wake up and open your eyes and there's anybody sitting in front of you. I mean, at least he's cute.
I mean, he's cute and he's just handing the popsicles to
Yeah. Yeah,
it's very sad puppy eyes.
Yeah, very sad puppy eyes with his currency to be able to come out of the room to use the potty.
Yeah,
because now he's saving the popsicle sticks at night instead of burning them all.
He is.
But that has led to like at some point in the maybe that's why I've been waking up more because I'm just anticipating like, is he here? Like, does he need to? Okay, we're good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no. So it's like some nights it's at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's got to go.
Other nights it's at like 6 the next morning.
Yeah,
so that's great.
And we're like, okay, this works. We're getting up around here anyway, so that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was this morning. He was just like, woo. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. I got you. Mm-hmm. And then I sang to him a couple times, and he was good to go and slept a little bit longer.
There you go.
And then he came out. He came out this morning when even though the sound machine was still red, he still popped out, and we had.
Once the sun's up, I think he feels like it's fair game, and I don't want to get mad at.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like that hard part to navigate. But definitely poor timing.
Yeah, not good timing. Yeah, we had our first close call. Why is your shirt off? I got hot, man. I got warm, so I took my shirt off. That's why.
Yep. A lot of vulnerability on my side.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. Wholeheartedly.
Between that and then trying to go to the bathroom, and he just kept bringing me things.
Just kept bringing you things, and it's like, kiddo, you got. And then he's like,
put my cape on.
Put my cape on me, and it's like, dude, like you gotta let mommy go to the bathroom, man.
Well, I think it's hard, right? Because we sit there and we talk to him while he's going to the bathroom because he still can't wipe yet.
Yeah,
and so he thinks it's the norm.
But that's why I was trying to tell him today. I'm just like, with grown-ups. Since we know how to use the potty properly and we're pros at it, you definitely want to give them their tranquility in there, man. Like, you can't just run up on people. We're still trying to help you out and assist you with everything,
Yeah.
So, but he'll get it.
Yeah.
He'll get it. Yeah. We did take him to a friend's barbecue for the holiday weekend.
For 4th of July, yeah.
Yeah. So that happened, and that was fun. That was a new little experience for him.
He's never been around that many boys of different ages that are like boys.
Yeah, the boys will be boys.
Yes.
Like, yeah, where the like 10-year-old and the 12-year-old are just laying on top of each other, hitting each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, running around with like all the fake guns, bashing
Yes.
things, like slamming cars into stuff.
Oh
and-
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was, he's just kept looking at us, just like, what are we doing? And I'm just like, hey man, have fun. Mm-hmm. Do your thing, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely shows you like where he's at with everything. So
Well, and he would like try and be a part of it, and then like go play with the monster trucks by himself, like give
Exactly.
himself a little reset, and then go back and try and keep. I think he was also like one of the youngest that was out there playing.
he was one of the youngest that was out there for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I think the next age up with him was like 4.
Yeah.
And he's 3.5. A little over 3.5 now.
Yeah.
Time flies.
But
But
I think it like ranged from like as far as the kids that were out there playing, it was like him like up to what do you think the older boys were probably like 8 to 10. I can never tell with old kids anymore.
I don't know anymore, man. I don't know what we're feeding the kids, but I mean, they look older and older.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, oh, those kids were 6, and I'm like, sure they were. They were almost
Sure.
as tall as me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was sitting there pitching to him for
Yeah,
a good long while. Mm-hmm. But he did get hit for the first time. That was the first, he took his first punch.
He did. They had those like I guess you'd call them like Hulk gloves.
Hulk hands.
Yeah, Hulk hands.
Yeah.
And so all the kids were running around with those.
Yeah.
And he was playing with the kid that looked like the kid from Sixth Sense.
The Haley Joel Osment looking kid.
He was probably I'd guess like 5 or 6 maybe.
Probably.
And so the kid was wearing the Hulk gloves, and Robin was like, "I want a box," because he watches boxing with us from time to time.
He saw some boxing, and so because we were watching the thing on the Amanda Serrano fight, were we not? Yeah. So I mean, he saw the boxing. And we tried to explain to him like, well, this is different from wrestling.
Yes.
Because this is like a competition where they're supposed to hit each other until there's a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
Which is different than wrestling.
Yeah.
Like they're, pulling the punches. They're not really hitting each other like that. They're slamming each other and those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something they're doing together and it's agreed upon and it's scripted.
Yeah.
And this is not that.
Yes.
So, but he learned.
Yeah. Now, I do give hats off to him because when we've talked to him when it comes to like MMA, wrestling, boxing, we always say it's an agreed upon thing. You
Yes.
can't just walk up and start hitting, kicking, body slamming,
No.
whatever. Like, so I do commend him that he asked
Yeah.
the kid, like, "Hey, let's box," and it was a consented thing.
That kid knew what boxing was.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it was innocent for a while and just kind of giggly and little light hits, and then that kid wound one up and got him right in the
but
eye.
not fair, like for a lot of reasons. But Robin didn't have anything on his hands, so
This
you
is
have
true.
little toddler hands going
Yeah.
against Hulk hands, and Robin's a smaller target to begin with.
He is.
So when there's that much surface, coming at you,
Yeah.
so it was definitely not fair.
It was not. It was not. But I mean, it's not always going to be fair
it's
in those instances. So that's another thing I had to learn. But inversely, I was
He
proud that
took his first punch to the eye.
Yeah, and he didn't cry.
He did not. He was shocked.
He was surprised. He was very like, "Oh, what just happened?" And it's like, "You wanted to box, man." And so like that's that. If you just tell a kid, "Let's box," and they agree to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit.
You were lucky the first few were body shots.
I'm saying, like, yeah, you were lucky that, and inversely lucky that, he had the Hulk hands on because those are softer
Yeah.
than if he'd have just taken a shot straight up in the eye, like,
Yeah,
he'd have had a
bare-knuckle it,
shiner. But no, I was of all the things, them like tripping and falling and crying, him taking a shot to the face
Yeah.
and being able to make it work and land, and it was fine. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, growing pains.
Growing pains,
Yeah.
quite literally. Yeah. So and
Also, I think it helps when we like tell them like your words mean things,
they do.
and so
They do.
if you ask to do this thing, don't get mad if somebody does it.
That is true. That is 100% fact. But also, inversely, it was just like I was thinking, like, kiddo, you don't know how many times your mom has gotten hit in the face.
Man, if you
Like-
just say that, that comes off so bad.
It does. It does. From boxing. from
Not from
boxing.
him.
Like, yeah, no, it's never me.
Well, it's a lie. You helped me spar for some of my fights.
Oh, yeah, early in our
Yeah,
relationship.
early,
Yeah,
yeah.
when you were still like, yeah, there was some very, very, very light sparring that was happening. Yeah. But and I think that kind of like led me to like a realization with as like being a parent, which is your kids are never gonna know who you were before they got here.
I don't know that never, but the comprehension won't be there.
It's gonna
as
take a
much.
minute.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have to really be teenage years and up before they really grasp the concept of like, oh, you lived like a whole life.
Yeah.
Before I got here, like you were like, I mean, my parents were different people before they had me and before they had my sisters. Your parents were different humans. I mean, they'd say parenting changes you, which it really does. But yeah, you live a life before you end up having kids, and you're a completely different person doing different things with different priorities and different hobbies, different things you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And so it's like he doesn't understand now like how much of a badass mom
Thanks.
is. But I mean, like, you know what? I don't want to sound insulting to be like,
It
you're
was
not
a
badass
different
anymore.
version, a different prime.
A very different version of badassery that you partook in, which I mean, people that are listening don't know, because I mean, I feel like people know a little bit about me. If they've seen all my specials, they've heard some of you with boxing and fighting and things like that. But I mean, do you want to catch people up on your history with fighting and things like that?
I mean, as far as like the trainer side of things, you know, I've been a personal trainer for what are we 17 years now?
We're
Is that where
yeah,
we're at?
because you've been doing it as long as I've been doing stand
I have
up.
to check in with you. Is that where we're at? Cool.
We're at
17.
we're 17 years in.
And I would say probably what out of those 17 years, 10 to 12 were with athletes. I want to say right in that realm.
Yeah, pretty much like I'd say a decade, because you started dabbling around the time right before we got married.
Yeah.
And then it started to kick more into like professional. It started amateur athletes and then professional athletes. You started
I
working
think my
with.
first go round was with college football players, and that was when I was still in Washington.
Yes.
And then fighters there as well.
Yeah.
And so some like MMA, UFC, boxing, Muay Thai, everything in that. And then we detoured to baseball for a little bit.
Yeah.
That little run. So got to work with professional baseball players for a while, which was pretty dope.
Yeah.
In a way different way.
Yeah.
And then, back to fighters and football players and everything in there, from professional athletes and boxers, and then getting behind the scenes from not just a personal training aspect, from nutrition.
Yeah.
So then I was diving into being able to do weight cuts for fighters and getting them to where they need to be, and massaging, and interned with a physical therapist for a couple of years. And so was
Like
able
one of
to,
the best physical therapists for athletes in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, I think that was probably the best thing that happened to my training career.
Oh, yeah.
Because you learn so much of the body and what it actually needs and what it doesn't need. And go figure that one of the best things I did was run a recovery class for Uriah Faber's gym.
Yeah.
That brought in a whole bunch of fighters that were just like, oh, I need to like take care of my body and not
I gotta
just
stretch.
not just hit shit. And so that opened up a whole different world of rehabbing, fighters from injuries so they can come back.
Yeah.
So that's like the training side of things. And then, but what got me started with working with fighters-ish was I was an amateur fighter. And so when I first started training fighters, I was like, I wonder what it's like to like get punched in the face. And not that great. But what is nice is like kicking people in the head, which is why I got more into like kickboxing and Muay Thai, and still did the jiu-jitsu thing, but most of my fights were like boxing or just kickboxing.
I love that for like a question randomly. It's just like, you know what's nice? Kicking someone in the head.
I'm saying, like,
I don't think I've ever kicked anybody in the head. Like, I don't know that my hamstrings have been loose enough
I
to
don't think so.
to be able to get up to someone's head. And inversely, if I could kick somebody in the head, it'd probably be someone too short, and that wouldn't be
Not
good
the
at all.
rapper.
Yeah, no. But we do know his favorite word. But
But also for you, like at the few times that you would help me get ready for a fight and we were kicking and it was just like thigh.
nah,
Like A, you didn't like getting kicked in general.
nope.
But B, you didn't even really like kicking because your shins weren't like calloused up
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
It hurt. Yeah, you gotta have everything like ready to go as far as like tough shins and calves and your like the front of your ankle, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that little dividend
Yeah.
between your foot and your shin. That's got to be tough because that's where you're trying to aim for anyway. And so yeah, no, went to spar and you were like, oh, we'll do kicks, and I was like, okay, and then you just dead legged me once. Like with one right in the thigh, and I had a hard time walking, and I was like, I'm done.
I'm done.
I never want to get kicked again. But inversely, I think that was like the best thing is just like you kind of taught me like, well, this is how you kick. So if you ever find yourself in some trouble, if you could land a good thigh shot with really like turning your foot over and getting your glute into the force of it, you don't want to keep fighting somebody if they kick.
No.
The second someone kind of like drops their hands and squares up to give you like a kick, just stop, give up. Throw in the towel. You don't want to mess with that person because once somebody starts throwing kicks, whoo,
Yeah.
that
Well, and
is
that's just
not
like
fun.
those type, but then there's also like push kicks, which is a whole different thing because you can get. I've had the wind knocked out of me getting push kicked before, and so there was one guy I would spar against, and he would like bounce off the middle rope because kickboxing's typically in a ring.
Yeah.
And he would like bounce off and then use it to come up for the kick. And
Yeah.
so every time I saw him go back, I'm like, you have fun over there. I am not following
No.
you to that rope.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. You don't want any of that. And I mean, you've push kicked a guy in like a street fight like that.
have.
That bit I do where I tell the story of you breaking up a fight between a guy and his girlfriend at the
gas station.
gas station. Yeah, that is a true story. Like it's on my Mr. Brightside comedy special.
Yeah.
My Mr. Brightside. My Mr.
Swear he's good with
Brightside
words.
comedy special. I tell that story and people always just like, is that real? And inversely, if you're there and I tell that story, then people start sizing you up. They start just walking up to you and grabbing your arms. And it's like, when is it ever okay to just walk up and touch somebody? Like, come on. Especially somebody who's been identified as tough. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it's like hard because it's like that, but then I also get like, especially and it's guys that are always like, I don't want no problems. And I'm like, I don't just go around bashing people's faces.
Yeah, man. That it speaks more about them than it does about like you in those cases. But people always look at you and they're just like, oh, well, you're such a pretty girl. Why would you ever fight? And I mean, like, if you're comfortable like disclosing why, I mean, you kind of had to.
Yeah. I mean, I did. And like piggybacking off of that, like kind of in our episode that we were talking about, like strong for a woman and everything like that. That was also part of where I was coming from is like, it's not just me, so many female fighters. I'd imagine wrestlers too, guys all the time. You're too pretty to fight. Why would you ever do? And it's all condescending.
Yeah.
Like, I thank you for calling me pretty, I guess, but it's still condescending. It's still a backhanded compliment.
It is.
So don't do it. Why? Good question. So my childhood, there was a fair amount of abuse early on, from my mom's ex, and then also in that, in my teenage years, I found myself in an abusive relationship, where, I was sexually assaulted, almost kidnapped, a lot of things in between.
You say almost kidnapped, but I mean, almost in the sense that I think he was trying to drive you to what, Mexico or something? And so going from Northern California and getting halfway down the state before
It was like an hour. Like maybe
an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. So like he jumped you in the parking lot when you were like leaving work. and had you in the car, tied up. Like, that's kidnapped. Like, at
Yeah,
that point,
I guess,
you
like,
escaped.
I guess, like, in my head, like, it would be full kidnap. I don't know.
It wasn't successful.
Yeah, it wasn't a successful kidnap. Maybe I'll say that.
Attempted kidnapped?
Yeah. I don't know what the right verbiage is.
But
We didn't get to where he wanted to go.
No, attempted kidnapping sounds like Home Alone, though, doesn't it? Like, at that point, which, I mean, if you'd had that set up in that house, way better.
I mean, the fact that I was still able to get out, like,
Insane.
with just what I had, which was my feet.
Yes.
Which, go figure.
Kicks!
Well, and that's
kicks.
what it was, is I was push kicking the window.
Yeah.
And just kept doing it until it started to crack.
Yeah.
And that's what got me out of that situation. So, if you ever find yourself there, hope you don't.
Yeah, fingers crossed that you don't.
But if you do, follow Eve Torres on Instagram.
Yes. She's letting people know if you find yourself in these situations, this is how you defend yourself.
Yes.
In the smartest and quickest and most concise way possible. There's things that you showed me, I'm like, that's brilliant. Like, where, oh man, I can't imagine the situation I'd be in where I'd need to know that, but I'm glad I do.
Yeah.
So yes, shout out to Eve Torres for sure.
I think coming from all of that and, you know, all the abuse in between with him, through a lot of therapy, and I feel like that had to come first, is like getting to a mental place where you can feel safe again and comfortable in your own skin and feel important. Eventually leading me, you know, what worked out is I was working at a gym in Washington. And there happened to be, you know, just fell into it as most of my career.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a spot that at the time Victory Athletics trained out of. And so it was like Dennis Hallman and Misha Tate was there. And so where she started. And so it just kind of was right in front of me all the time. And eventually I was like, hey, let's see how I fare at this when it's like, you know, wanted and like fairly well. So
You did great, yeah. As what was your record amateur?
8-1.
8-1, and you only had the one loss because you dislocated your jaw.
Yeah, because I got cocky.
Yeah,
So-
and then they were like, we can't let you keep fighting because if they shatter your jaw, it's just going to be a bad thing for life. Inversely, I mean, like, you still have, like, clicking in your jaw and have a hard time opening your mouth too well.
I'll be eating and you're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I can hear. I'm like, oh, you poor thing. I am so sorry. Just like listening to you clack when you're chewing. So yeah, man. I mean, like you held your own. You did great, and we're doing a good job. But I mean, yeah, it was kind of forced upon you.
Yeah, but I think like it was. We talked about this yesterday because we went to the place that I was unsuccessfully kidnapped from.
Yeah. Well, because you did trauma therapy
all last year,
which is very intensive therapy, like the most intense type of therapy that you can go through. And so, you know, my hat's always off to you for many reasons, but to be able to go through that, man, and, you know, recount things and do it over and over and over again until you eventually get to a point where you just kind of come to terms with it and you're not afraid of it anymore. And so that was part of that, which was just like, if you could ever go back to the scene of the literal crime, that's kind of where you were like telling me, hey, I think I want to go back and just eat there at the restaurant just to show myself that I'm a different person now. I've grown, I've accepted that these things have happened, I've moved on from them. And so I was like, do you want us to be there? Obviously, like I want to make sure that everything is set to the way you want it to be. And you're like, yeah, I'd love it if you guys were there. And then, you know, we hit up our friend who was a big help to you, very helpful when the things happened when you were younger. And so she was able to meet up with us. So it was, you know, our son and me and you and her. And yeah, we went. And I mean, just from outside looking in, just seemed like another day at a diner. Yeah, you know.
And well, like I said yesterday, I think it helped that it doesn't look like the same place. You know,
yeah, it's a different restaurant.
It's a different restaurant, and so the interior is way different. Now, had we had like gone over to the parking spot that things went down at, who knows?
Yeah.
But I could see it from the window, and I knew it was there, and that's fine enough for me.
Yeah.
But also we've like driven through that parking lot, so it wasn't like unknown territory. But and so yeah, I think like what we were talking about yesterday when we left the restaurant was like in no way are we like, you know, we were talking about like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And like how backwards that is in some ways of just like you don't know what you can turn something into though.
You don't know what you'll spin a positive into from.
Yeah.
Like people can think it's insensitive to people who experience these horribly traumatic things to be like, oh, well, it happened for a reason. And, you know, now you get to rise up from it. It's just like, I don't know that that's the perspective from it. But I think we came to the terms of you can't see the whole board.
Yeah.
And so the strength that you can find within yourself isn't just beneficial for you and your growth and your journey, but it's beneficial for other people when they hear and go, oh, man, that's wild that you went through something like that. I've gone through that too. And they can, I don't want to say compare notes, but it's helpful for them to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
In the situation. It can get better. There is possibility. There is hope in that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, what are you going to have hope from? Just like, everything's great. I've got hope that hope happens as a byproduct of things not being good. So you're hopeful that things will get better.
Well, and I think that was the most eye-opening thing because doing trauma therapy last year, and then I did start working on a TED Talk last year that I wanted to talk about everything that happened to me. And also putting it together of like coming from like maybe helping parents to be able to see like red flags in their teenagers' relationships or friendships. And then also like just for people, if they're like, okay, I see that in my friends, you know, relationship. So really just kind of bringing those things to the forefront. And I think what was kind of the coolest, weirdest feeling was, I think it was in November, when things went down politically, you did a video with my permission of talking about a little bit what happened to me.
Yes.
And how viral that video went.
It did.
And how many women in the comments were discussing things that happened to them. It definitely gave me kind of like that little push, like, hey, there's more you can do with your story.
Wholeheartedly.
And so I think that's where, you know, when we started the podcast, it was like, okay, at some point I do want to talk about it. I did finish the TED Talk and I submitted it to them to try and, you know, see where that goes.
Totally.
You know, and then also right now I'm in the middle of making a journal for domestic violence and sexual assault survivors.
Yeah.
And just kind of seeing where it goes. But yeah, I think it's at a point where it's like I've done so much healing in myself through everything that I'm like, okay, I'm seeing how important it is that if you can share your story, if you're in a good enough place to share your story, to share it, because you never know who it's helping, who's listening. And so, yeah, I think I didn't want to feel like all of my healing was necessarily in vain, because it's not, even if I didn't share my story. But I think getting to a point where there is a platform for it and I feel comfortable with it and I'm not like breaking down, shaking anymore over it, there's something to do with it.
Absolutely. But also the continued strength that it takes to pursue all of those endeavors through all the noise, through all the, you know, because you're going to get talked about. The thing that I uploaded, like you said, with your permission, that got a lot of women talking in a positive way about like, oh, this is good to hear. And there was a lot of positivity there. There was the other side as well.
Oh, yeah.
There was no shortage of very egotistical, hurt boys in the comments who were saying their piece about
She was asking for it and all of those awful comments in
all
between.
the worst things that you, and so that's the hard part, I think, and also inversely why women stay quiet for so long and why it's so hard to come forward, because it's like that's a side of this. There's going to be people who are gonna like throw stones at you, sometimes literally, and you've got to have enough bravery in you to be able to move through that and be able to still continue and push forward and go, no, this is my truth. This is what I want to do. And I want to get the word out there so that way, like, either justice can be served, hopefully, but also it could help somebody else on the other side of it. So it takes continued strength to be able to get through all of that.
Well, and I think that's also been like the biggest thing with like the Diddy case right now, right? Like because that's at the forefront.
Yeah.
And now they have, decided on what he will and will not serve on. But again, and I think I did a video when the Diddy stuff started of, people think it's so easy for women to just come forward and talk about it. And it's not. It's not set up for women to be open about it. Even when I did, the cops tried to talk me out of it.
Because it would be hard.
Yeah.
They're like, this is going to get caught up in litigation. Are you sure? Like, yeah, they tried to talk you out of it.
Well, and, unless you've been in a situation like that, because I also had a restraining order. I had a restraining order the times that he would show up at my work, and it didn't matter.
No.
And so I'm not saying don't get one. Absolutely pursue one, but please just don't rely on it.
Can't rely on it.
And I think if people don't know how those things work, they just assume that that's like the end all be all.
Yeah.
And it's not. And so, it's not the easiest to come forward about it. It's not the easiest to talk about it. People are always going to, spin their own narratives on it. But it's not for them.
It's not. It's not. I do want to bring it back around, though, to this perspective and ask you this question. As parents now, we've got our son, daughter on the way. In the future, you see that one of them, maybe, or a couple, or the both of them, going down a similar path, down a similar road. From a parenting aspect, how do you navigate that? What do you think is the best course of action there? What signs are you looking for? And then inversely, what do you do to try your best to be there, but like in a way that they won't be defensive about?
I mean, I think it's something that you start early on, right? Of just like, it's this weird thing that we're even navigating with our son of like, you don't want to raise a completely obedient kid.
Yeah.
And that's partially for their safety, right? And so I think it's trying to navigate like how you instill that at a young age. I think it's also trying to instill not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially with our daughter instilling that. Like I've come a long way with people pleasing. I have a long road ahead of me to keep going. And so I think it's very easy, especially for women, to get into the people pleasing like mode. And so I think instilling that aspect of it. And then when it comes to like, they're of age, and if that seems like there's red flags, I think it's hard because as parents, and I'm sure like parents of older kids can agree, if you just tell your kid not to do something, they're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
And so, but you also can't stay silent,
Yeah.
And because my mom's even told me that, the few times we've talked about my ex of like, well, I didn't want to tell you no because I knew you'd do it anyway. And so, and it's no fault of hers on like, you don't know what to say in that moment. Like there's no manual for it. And that's also why I'm trying to create a TED Talk. But I think if there's a way that you can get your kid thinking about the situation they're in, and maybe like from a outsider's perspective, kind of like what we tell our friends, like if you were talking to yourself, if you were talking to your friend the way you talk to yourself, would you still do it? Yeah. And so I think if you can try and map that around the conversation, you really just want to get them thinking about it, right? And so it isn't necessarily like, no, you can't see them ever again, but you have to get them understanding why you're going to get to that point, because you don't want it to be like they're lying to you about going over there, or they're sneaking out, or, whatever the thing is. And so it is a very sensitive thing to navigate. But you have to get them thinking about it and not just, no, you can't do that, because that doesn't help anything either.
It doesn't. And I think also like just doing everything you can throughout the span of their entire upbringing to just have that trust, that foundation of trust, the open arms and the open door policy of just We trust you. You can come to us. You can tell us anything. We're not gonna like fly off the handle, and we might have to. Some things might have to go take a lap and go for a little walk and kind of decompress over it. But I mean, you could tell us anything, and we're gonna try and be as tactful as humanly possible. So that's gotta be a big thing.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the scariest thing, whether you're a teenager in a situation like that or even an adult. It is very scary to especially open up to that first person about what's going on with you. You're worried about judgment. You're worried, about them getting mad, disappointed, think you're lying. So it's scary. And so, yeah, I think if you can have that, not just as a parent, but with friends, if you're a safe place for people, and we talked about this with our friend, about our friend yesterday, you don't know what just being a safe space for somebody is going to do for them. And even our friend yesterday, she's like, I don't know what I did for you. And it was literally just, she was a safe space. She showed me love and compassion, and she just lent me an ear without judgment. And that literally changed the whole trajectory from like 16 on in my life. Truly.
It did. It did. So, I mean, I think that all makes sense. But, I mean, of course, I want to commend you, as always, for, speaking as candidly as you have about all of this. But also, yeah, I think this is it's important for people to hear for a lot of different reasons, and so that way folks can better understand their levels to the game here.
There's layers to everything.
There's layers to everything. You don't know who people are. You don't know what people have been through. You don't know what anybody's story is. Assumptions will have you convinced that you know what you're talking about when you don't. And so, yeah, it's very important, I think, to have these types of conversations, but especially like to bring it around from a parenting point and like trying to make the difference that you're trying to make, and hopefully doing this TED Talk, get on it, TED. Hopefully we can make that happen for you, so that way you can help give people, like, it's not going to be a blueprint, but it's starting a conversation in a positive direction that can hopefully, save somebody's life.
Yeah. And that's
someday.
the thing, is I think there needs to be more conversations started.
Yes.
And not just necessarily for women. I think, it happens to guys too.
It does.
And that's super not talked about.
No.
And so I think just opening that door for both sides to have that conversation is huge.
Yeah. And
then also back, to the parenting thing. The other cool thing is, now that I've put so much out there in the last year, I'd be lying if I didn't say like it feels kind of cool that like when our kids get older, it's something that they can listen to, read, whatever the case may be at that point. Of, this is part of who I was beforehand, and this is also how much I would say as a parent has really triggered in a good way of me wanting to heal and grow from everything for like me, for you, and for them. So
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I love you, dear.
I love you.
You did great.
Thanks.
So I think that's all we're going to have
My
time.
first interview.
I know, right? Yeah, this ended up being an interview for you. But again, at the end, I think that's important. I think that's important for people to know, especially because, we're doing these podcasts together. And so you're really, for the first time, coming to the forefront with me, which I'm very excited about, because you're my best friend. And I definitely enjoy these conversations that we have. And so it's great to be able to share them with people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you coming to the forefront and everything. It's very important for people to know and people to understand and get a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, but inversely also, like, these conversations are important to have. So I commend you for doing that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. I appreciate you. So, yeah, we'll be back next time. We've got some pretty exciting guests.
We do.
That are coming up, and so we're very excited about that. But ultimately, sound off in the comments, give us your thoughts on my wife's story that she was so brave enough to share with people. I mean, like, for better. I mean, look yourself in the mirror if you're going to be for worse, if you're going to be one of those people, know. But yeah, there could be a sense of community in the comments about not being alone and finding strength, and this being a very important conversation to be had, and hearing what your input is on it, ideally in a positive light. So, but we'll be back with more fun guests that we got coming up. We're very excited about That being said, this has been the Two Tired Parents podcast. I'm Myles Weber.
I'm Heather Weber.
And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.